All right.
We're live. We're alive.
Live. Here we are. We are a few minutes late coming on. We were trying our best to get some music for you guys, but it just was doing this weird echo thing. So anyway, hi. I'm so glad that you are all here and joining me tonight for another Reawakened Health webinar where I gather women's health and wellness experts, gurus, to talk all things health and how we can reawaken our health, our life. And tonight we're going to talk about waking up to the joy that is within us. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Aimee Raupp. I'm a women's health, wellness, fertility expert. I've written a couple books. My first, Chill Out and Get Healthy. My second one is this one, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. My next one is coming out in March of 2018 called Body Belief. And it is my passion to inspire and enliven women, men, anyone who wants to hear my message on taking back the power over their health, and that they have the ability to shift their mindset and improve their lives and to truly reawaken their health. And tonight my guest is one of my dearest friends. I love this woman to pieces, and I'm honored that she agreed to do this with me in the midst of the end of summer with all the busy schedules. And we're going to talk tonight. We're going to have Miss Agapi introduce herself, but she is, she's a best-selling author. She's a beautiful human being, and I'm, again, just so honored and pleased to have her in my life and on this webinar to share her joy and passion with all of you. So I will let Agapi introduce herself and say a few words about your fabulousness.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is such a treat. I am live in Soho, New York, and I kind of wish we were all here together having a Greek dinner.
I know.
I'm Agapi Stassinopoulos, and born in Greece, educated in London as an actress, moved to Los Angeles, and had a career that never happened, as I always say, but I happened. And
Yes.
it's the journey of my life and how I ended up producing and writing books on Greek archetypes and Greek gods and goddesses, and studied psychology at the University of Santa Monica in Los Angeles, and then moved to write my life story to assist other people to know how do we create our lives and how do we become self-directed and spirit-led. I was very blessed to have an amazing mother who raised me and my sister Ariana Huffington, who you might have heard of. She created Huffington Post, and she created Thrive Global Journal now. And I want you all to subscribe to it. And we actually live together. And my niece Isabella has her art studio here in our apartment in Soho. And this is
That's her beautiful work. Yes.
And you can go on isabellahuffington.com and look at her amazing work.
Gorgeous work.
In writing Unbinding the Heart, I told the story of how I found the light in me, my soul, my connection to my heart, my connection to my own beingness as a spiritual being, and how I learned to navigate the spirit of who I am in this world, so that the integration of the material, physical, professional expression of myself plus the spiritual aspect, how do they merge? And that's a question that so many people out there have, and I have the answers.
Tell us. Well, tell us more about you, and then we'll get into the answers.
I also have the chutzpah to say, I know that I know.
Yes, you do.
Listen, when you know something, you got to stand up and say, I know this. And when you don't know something, you say, I don't know that.
Yes.
And we're always in progress, but there's a lot of things that I know and I understand, and I am so passionate to share them with so many people, men, as you said, men, women, children, anybody who needs to awaken to the joy in them. Which this book I wrote. Here it is. Boomerang, boomerang, boomerang.
It's such a beautiful book. It's such a beautiful book.
And this book I wrote here actually in Soho, with a prayer in my heart that it will awaken and help people when they feel stuck, to learn how to manage their energies, to learn how to let go of their childhood, to learn how to move from disappointment to grace, how to not worry, how to be more soulful, how to find your purpose. Some of the chapters here, and I did 52 chapters because I thought, little bites. We need little doses of things. It's like in a time where you know how it is, like everybody's so much coming to us from technology, from social media. What about if we did something that people can just open one chapter and, for example, I just opened here, it says, what is your foundation for maintaining a balanced energy? Page 115. What is the foundation for maintaining a balanced energy? Now, isn't that an amazing question for actually our webinar? Managing your energy. That's one of the chapters of where I speak. How do you, because life happens in the day and in the moment. It doesn't happen sometime in the future, in the ethereal theory. It happens right now. And how do you manage your energy from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep? And how do you navigate your life? And so in this book, I did meditations. I did 32 guided meditations, which I have an audio, and I love the audio. It's
so
like audio. You should listen to it because it's very calming and soothing. I listen to it myself. I do, and I go, oh, this is so beautiful. And we all need input to calm ourselves down, and action steps. And now I speak everywhere about how to find that joy and how to rediscover the joy. And I speak in women's groups, in summits, in organizations, conferences. I also do a lot of work with Ariana on Thrive Global, and help a lot of people in corporate America learn how to meditate.
So speaking of that, why don't we do a little intro meditation for everyone? We'll give a little gift of an Agapi guided meditation to kind of set our intention for tonight and what we're ready and open to receive, right?
Let's do like 2 minutes just to see.
I love that. That's it. 2 minutes. Quick and easy.
Even a minute.
Everyone.
Be comfortable where you are and start to take a deep breath. Let the breath come from within, because that's where the breath comes from. And breathe in, and as you breathe in, hold it for a second and exhale. And as you exhale with a sound. Become present in your heart. It's the end of the day, but it can be a beginning of a beautiful evening for you. And start to feel yourself with an energy of light from the top of your head to your third eye. Your third eye is located right in between your eyebrows, right in here. I'm pointing it out. The third eye, tap it a little bit.
I'll tap it.
Yep, tap it a little bit. You could even have a little aromatherapy. And take it down to your heart. There you go. And tap your sternum a little bit. Keep breathing, slowing down the breath. Bring a beautiful, calming yellow light. Yellow is very clarity, clears the cobwebs. Bring it to your solar plexus. Exhale it down into the sexual reproductive system, to the knees, the feet, and circulate it all around you again, energizing you, filling you up. And you can bring any of the colors you would like now. You can bring a purple, you can bring indigo, red, blue, green. Green, emerald green is a wonderful color for healing. And see it like circulating all around you, like you are in a bubble of that light. So your body is in the light, and let anything that might be disturbing your concerns or thoughts, just see them leaving from the third eye and going up in a balloon in the air. Just visualize this balloon taking. And send this wave of calm and beautiful energy into the rest of your day.
Mm.
And observe your breath, feel all of your breath, and this time, don't take in your breath, receive your breath. Receive your breath. Receive the breath. There you go, beautiful. Beautiful. And exhale, and by exhaling, you let go. Receive the breath, observe the breath. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's so easy, but yet it's such a habit to keep going from the next thing to the other and not take the time to really.
Well, and I love the part too of receiving the breath, like allowing that to come to you, because I think that's so much of what we want to get into tonight, right? This,
Yes.
you know, and so much of what your beautiful message is one of the things that, you know, Agape is, like I said, a friend of mine too, and I love to talk to her. And one of the things she said to me, it was fairly recently, but it's not about, when she teaches me things all the time, that it's not about finding ways to add more joy to your life. It's about finding ways to let go of the things that are blocking the joy that is there.
Yes.
And I love that, because the adding too just always feels like work, right? It feels like more things versus like the shedding kind of just feels, it feels uplifting. It feels, you know, and then that the joy is there. It's always been there. And I love that idea. So talk to me a little bit about that.
You know, if you think about it, Aimee, it's like, what is it that clouds our joy?
Yes.
Joy is the spirit. I mean, you look at your son, James, and he's pure joy, right? I mean, he gets upset and he gets hurt, his little feelings, but there is this joy that is like his being. And when you look at children, most of the children are filled with joy.
Yeah.
I was with a little girl at the beach on Saturday, and she was just teaching me about every single shell at the beach, and she was looking. She was so unbelievably present. And when she wanted to go back, she said, "I'm tired. I want to go back."
Right.
But most of us are. So for each one of us, you have to ask the question: what is clouding my joy? A lot of it is unresolved issues that we might have from parenthood, from our parents, from our childhood.
Right.
I mean, I was working with a group yesterday of entrepreneurs, and I talked a lot about, you know, you have to really look at what are the messages your parents put in you, because so many parents make their children feel less than. You know, if you don't get the right grades, if you don't, you won't amount to anything. And even I have so many friends who basically say to me, "I could never do enough for my father and mother." I mean, not you, because I know your mother adores you. You're perfect. And not me, because my mother really loved me just the way I was.
Right.
But so many children have I'm not enough, and then they have careers and they do get married and they maybe have children, but underneath is this thing of I'm not perfect, I'm not enough, I could be doing more, look at my friends. So there is the comparison, and we women also have this added pressure of our appearance and our looks, and and then you take all that away and you go into the gratitude just of being alive.
Right.
And that is, oh my God, let's have a shout out and make a noise into the Lord, as we say, because as I say in the book, the Make Your Health a Priority, we have 37.2 trillion cells.
Yes.
That are making us right now, creating us. This Agapi, this Aimee, this anybody who is listening out there, there is a force, there is these vocal cords that are producing movement, and there is this heart that's beating every second. So if you stop and you're in reverence of that, beyond your bank account and your career and your deadlines and your social media and your to-dos and your children and your husband and your co-workers and what are you going to do on Labor Day, and do you have the right plans and what you're going to wear, and then what about your in-laws, and all the things that are clouding us, and what did your friend say that you didn't like it, and your husband and you had, it's like endless what we do, and you go, stop, basta, enough.
Yes.
I'm alive, I'm well, I'm grateful, I'm not in Houston in the fields. I have my home, and go, thank you, God. I was
and even my friends who are in Houston, they're safe, which is that same thing of like, thank God, right?
I'm safe. I lost my house, but I have my family.
Exactly. That's it.
So imagine, and let alone, you think of all the people in the third world countries who are the suffering and the misery and the no water. We have so much to be grateful. So let's just say, I'm so grateful. And gratitude is your immediate
it grounds you.
Portal to your joy.
Absolutely. Right.
It's so hard to do because we take everything for granted. And if you just, we started our mornings at work, instead of good morning and, take your devices and go do. We say, hello, what are you grateful for? We just had one moment of being grateful, not just at night, but in the day. And just, it's really the spirit. It's this, you go back into your spirit, you go back into who you are. And it's that shift of the momentary, daily little shifts that bring us back to our joy. And then you say, I really love dancing or listening to music, right, or cooking for my friends, or whatever it is. You start to do those things that ignite your joy.
Right. One thing I love too that you talk about that I love is that, we were talking about this kind of before we went on, of like, we all get angry and get jealous and judge ourselves, judge others, and how to understand that those things are normal, right? That like even you and I have those moments, right? And
all the time.
And how to, the word that we were talking about was like witnessing that and then forgiving, right?
Yeah, and well, it's more like I say that if you numb yourself to your negative feelings, you're going to numb yourself to your joy.
Yes. Oh, I love that, Agapi.
Yes, it's in the book. It's in the book, Awaken Your Joy. I have to find the chapter.
Beth, I know you're listening. Let's make a post of that. If you numb yourself to your negative feelings, you will numb yourself to your joy.
Yes, exactly. And that's the key to the book, because what happens when we numb ourselves, we put it on the carpet, and then we end up having, a third glass of wine or bread and butter, the pudding or the muffin, because I'm so upset, I can't tell anyone, I'm just going to have another muffin.
Yes, right.
Those croissants, or whatever it is. But basically, what happens when we numb ourselves, we are basically lying to ourselves that I don't have the right to feel these feelings. So you're a human being, you're going to feel these feelings. And don't do a spiritual bypass because you think you're enlightened.
Yes.
I'm a pretty enlightened human being, and so are you, Aimee, and so is probably everybody who's listening. But that doesn't mean I go through a lot of emotions. I'm a Greek emotional woman, and I get upset, I get out of balance, I get tired, I get irritable, I get cranky, I get everything.
Right.
But I got it. What made me feel this way? Let's go there right now.
Yeah.
Let's get to that place. Let me see what I can do to forgive it. You know, not judge it, but just like accept it, have room, host my feelings.
Yeah, host. I like that. Host your feelings, all of them. Yeah.
Host them, all of them. You are a magnificent, huge, you know, women, we are mothers. We are, whether we have children or not, we are these incredible healers and caretakers.
Yes.
So now the other thing that's important is don't take on other people's feelings, because what happens to me is that, let's say, for example, I would have a friend who is upset or is going through grief or sorrow, and I'll finish a call with her, and the next thing I have their stuff.
Yes.
I have this very funny thing where I said there was a long time ago, a friend of mine was going through a very hard divorce in Los Angeles, and I was writing my second book, Gods and Goddesses in Love, and I had a deadline, and she was going through a divorce, and I was so immersed in her stuff that people would say to me, "How are you?" And I wanted to say, "You know, I'm going through a divorce." I wasn't even married.
Right.
I kept thinking of what she should do and how her husband was taking advantage of her and everything. And there was a time where I have this affirmation I'm going to say to everyone. I surrender the need to be all things to all people.
Oh my gosh, I need that. Yes.
I surrender the need to be all things to all people. I surrender the need to make other people happy. I surrender the need to feel that unless other people are happy, I don't have a right to be happy.
Right, that's it.
I surrender that need to you know, we all have, as women, you know, and you as a practitioner, you probably feel, you seem pretty balanced to me, Aimee. I must admit, you're always so calm and balanced to me. But I wonder, do you ever have this feeling that you have to heal your patients?
Well, you know, it was a couple of years ago. You know, I'm a fan of Abraham or Esther Hicks, right? And I was listening to one of her workshops, and a physician actually got up and he had asked a question about, you know, healing his patients, and you know, he was stressed and in turmoil about some things, and she said to him, "It is your job to see their wellness and not their illness."
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
And that was a huge turning point for me in my career, I think in my professional life and my personal life.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's like I was able to then realize I can let go of this need to fix them. And it's almost exactly what you said to me the other day, which was the same thing of like, oh my God, it's not about adding more joy. It's about unclouding whatever's, you know, blocking your joy, right? Getting rid of these cloud blocking, or
which would be a judgment, which would be a belief.
Right. Well, and that's it. And so I started to shift, and then I started to say, I'm going to focus on their wellness, and then I'm going to teach them to focus on their wellness. So, you know, anybody who's watching, who works with me, that's what I do now is I say, okay, well, what is working? Let's focus on what is working, celebrate that, and then we, you know, work through the other kinks in the system. But of course, I mean, a big part of my own personal and spiritual growth is realizing that I'm a guide for my patients. I am not, you know, a healer, right? And, you know, and in true sense that I'm here to help guide them to what I believe is the right thing for them. But if they're open to listen to it. For me, triggers are still like, you know, in my marriage where I can still want to fix him, you know, or make sure he's happy, you know, and those things can come up for me. And what I always say to myself, either with my husband or even close friends, is I trust that I'm being guided and that I'm supported by my guides, and I trust that they're being guided and they're supported. And so it's that same thing of like surrendering, handing it over. but it's definitely, you know, work, right? And it's, you know, it's like the topic that we're, you know, talking about tonight too. It's the awareness, right? So I have to witness it. And the moment I do, then I can get to that place of like the why behind it. And that's just my personality.
Also, one of the greatest keys, and I have this in the book, in the chapter, The Art of Letting Go. And I was reading it actually yesterday, and I was going, what is the art of letting go?
Yeah.
And it's observation. It's like when you create a distance between what you're going through and a bridge where you can just back away and back to your breath. And you'll be amazed of how this thing that grabs you, because, you know, karmic patterns grab us and attach themselves to us. And sometimes in relationships, especially, Aimee, you can feel like you are in a straitjacket because and karma, because, you know, I'm a big believer in the karma meaning actions that have not been completed from the past.
Yeah.
So you come in the presence of somebody and you say, you know, I feel so much smaller in their presence. I lose my power. And you feel there are certain people you can be around and you feel your energy they're not in your power, in your center, in your presence. And what is that about? I mean, so you have to really look at it and say, where is this person affecting me? And I'm allowing myself to be affected.
That's it.
When am I allowing myself to be affected? And not be the victim.
And it's taking responsibility that, you know, that you are allowing it, right? And you can also take responsibility to say, like, I'm not going to allow that. I have these healthy boundaries. I know who I am and where I stand. And just like you said, like, I'm allowed to be happy if someone else isn't, right? I don't have to give up my happiness because someone in my life isn't, or my wellness because someone.
That's an issue that's coming up a lot. And people ask me a lot, you know, because of the political situation now and because of just how upset people are because of the politics, and I don't want to say names, but we all know what we're talking about. I don't want to say bad names on the webinar. But, you know, I think it's so important I played a song yesterday called On Top of the World. I think it's called Imagine Dragons, I think it is.
Yes, yeah, I love that song, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to play now, and I think I played that song and I said, we have to kind of rise above the world. I don't know if it was Socrates or Jesus, I don't know who said to be, I think Socrates said to be in the world but not of the world.
Yes, yes.
And a lot of times, you know me, you've heard me speak, and you know, when I speak, I'm very free, and I speak my heart, and I connect with people, and people say to me, how did you learn to do that? How can you be so free and you don't have you're not so self-conscious? Yeah. And I said, because when I'm up there speaking with people, I'm not about me. Yes. I'm not thinking about Agapi. I've given that up. I mean, I'm not thinking, how am I perceived? Do they like me? They don't like me. And there is that freedom. You get free. And that freedom is what I want to help people find. And it's when you don't feel you need to be liked so badly.
So how do we find it? How do we find it? Tell us.
Find that? It's, you know, it's kind of because it took me years to find more and more of myself, and I talk a lot about in the book finding that freedom and a lot of it, you know, first of all, you have to go back to how you were conditioned. Because a lot of us as young girls, we were conditioned not to show, not to have too much bravado, not to be seen, not to be too loud, you know, to sort of censor yourself. Yeah. Because you want to fit in. And you know, I struggled with that fitting in for years in Hollywood as an actress. And when I realized that Hollywood wasn't going to get me, I went, oh, good. Well, now Hollywood doesn't get me, Broadway doesn't get me, I better get me. Right. I did the inner work, and I did the University of Santa Monica, and I healed, and I started to find this girl that just opened up And the more I found her, and it had to do with my heart and my expression and my truth and who I was, and I started to find me, I was so happy, because it didn't have to do with being with a man, being liked by a man, or finding the job, having the money. It wasn't about that. It was about this inner spirit, this inner power that resides in all of us, in all of us.
Yes.
And you have to actually, and I talk a lot about this, when you're going to be creative and when you are going to find it, you're actually going to shake. It's not a thing that you're going to be comfortable. You're going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to be very uncomfortable. And when you are uncomfortable, you start to break through this conditioned self, Aimee, that we've been imposed from our childhood. And it's like if you are in the desert and you're looking for water, and you're gonna find the water, and you're gonna be hot and sweaty and dry and dry. But I know there's water here. I know there's water, and that excavation is how we cut off the crust of what this human form is about. And then you suddenly find your spirit, and your spirit is so mighty and so tender at the same time, and so open. And I mean, I'm thinking now of Louise Hay, who passed on in the spirit.
Oh, no.
I'm getting the chills, because if you tune in, she's free in the spirit.
Yes.
She's flying. She's free. So that's us. We are free in the spirit. So
we choose to block ourselves, though.
We what?
We choose to block ourselves, right? Yeah.
It's not so much we choose to. We can't. We're born.
Condition.
We're born with these conditions. It's our karma.
Right.
Or then our parents reinforce the conditions, and then society reinforce the conditions, and then basically what happens is you collapse within yourself.
Right.
Collapse. And then, you know, the heart, what does the heart do? Contract and expand, contract. So if you could just teach yourself to expand in the midst of contraction, whether it is that you stretch your body, and that's why yoga is so wonderful, whether it is that you go out and you meet new people, you try new things, whether you ask for what you want and you go, I don't know how to do that. Can you help me? I have this chapter in the book called 4 Magic Words. Can you help me?
Yes.
You say, can you help me? Can you help me? I mean, you have a new book coming out, and you're going to be asking a lot of people for help to promote it, right?
Yes.
Help you? We're all going to help you. I had a new book out, and I was asking so many people, can you help me?
And it's an honor to, you know, I think that's another thing too, that we are all uncomfortable in the asking, but we don't realize how honored the person you ask most likely is, you know, and that
also how you ask. If you ask with your kindness and your heart, people are going to say yes. If you ask that your neediness, I need you to help me, because if you don't,
and that's the same thing in relationships, right? Even friendships or romantic relationships, that neediness that comes through is actually repelling, you know, and for all of us. But when it's this soft, like, I'm in my heart, I'm taking care of me.
That's so true, because one of the reasons I kind of stopped getting into male relationships, you know, is because I could not stand my neediness.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost like something would happen to me in a relationship where I would lose myself, and then it was all about the guy. It was all about if he called, if he didn't call, he didn't say that, when am I going to see him? And so I never found that balanced relation. And now, you know, now I'm very happy, as you know, being single. And I talk about in the book. I said, oh, so you want to get married? Really? Let's talk about that. You know, my path, once I had all the different relationships and everything, became very much about my work, my mission, my expression, my family, my friends, my spiritual path. I live with Ariana. It's such a blessing. I have my nieces that I adore. So I feel very fulfilled. And I have a few guys around that I'm attracted to, and they like me too. But I haven't gotten into this.
Who wouldn't love you?
Hope some guys are watching.
Yes. Give it a little shake.
Oh my God. I love dancing so much. I was dancing the other day at a friend's party, and she had a pole in the middle of the,
Fun.
and I started to do the pole dancing with a Greek friend of mine, and he said, "Wow, I see another Agapi coming out." I said, "Yeah, she's in there somewhere. She's in there, the gypsy girl." But you know, the neediness is so hard for women. I mean,
it is. I suffer with that too. It'll come up for me, and it's that same thing of like it can just get triggered, and you know, and it's stuff I worked through, right, to really get into the space to meet the man I married. But then there's just times where it comes up. I think it's just navigating, you know, new transitions in your life, like as a new mom, and you know, he went through this bout of really being unhappy at his job, and that, you know, then I wanted to fix that, right? So all of a sudden, though, it became this, you know, where I saw these parts of me that I hadn't seen in a long time, and
wow.
But I was able to witness it in a way that was so much more forgiving than ever before, and in a way that I don't have shame around it, right? I can just talk about it right here, right now, you know, to whomever. And we're all human, we're all normal, no one's perfect. And what is perfect, you know, anyway, like, please define that. But, you know, it's your belief of what is perfect, right? And so we're trying to live up to these standards that we've created for ourselves, or that the world has created for ourselves, and then to just realize, you know, like, and I'll say that to Kenny, I'll just be like,
we
I'm
can
feeling really needy.
Love ourselves in the midst of those parts, and
that's it.
I experienced last night, because I spoke with these women at this wonderful group called Six Figures, and it was very visceral, and it was very heartfelt, and a lot of hearts were opened. And you know, when I speak, I'm so transparent about my process, and really speak from strength and vulnerability at the same time. And then I signed books, and I talked to people, and I had a little dinner with two of my friends, and I came home, and I was so full. I was so full of good energy. You know, I felt the love of people. I felt I've given of mine, and I found myself. I just had an awareness. It was like the awareness was like this. Oh, I really love myself.
It's such a nice feeling.
And it was really, and then I went, I really feel loving for Agapi. And I let it in, you know, I let it in. And then in the morning, you know, I woke up, and I just did my day in a very much more intuitive way, because when I do these events, a lot of energy comes in.
Yeah.
You have to sort of process it, and then return, you know, expand a lot into more of a spiritual awareness, you know, and everybody feels that. And then somewhere in there, I got very tired, but I kept pushing through it to do the next thing and the next thing. And then I started to feel overwhelmed, because I was now tired.
Yeah.
And I didn't, you know, I said, what do? You just stop and say, I'm done. But I wanted to complete things. So it's a real balance there, where we get caught suddenly in the doing.
Yes, of course.
And in the doing, and they're not feeling. But, you know, I just think what an amazing thing would be to really live a life where you really, really loved yourself. You really loved yourself.
So what do you think are some, I don't know,
I want to teach people.
Starting points to get there? Because I know it's, you know, I could say too, right? I think I love myself more now than ever before. And I, you know, history of an eating disorder, and, you know, like all these things that were a bit self-abusive for sure to myself. And, you know, I came from such a loving, kind family. It's
Yes.
shocking that I had some of those insecurities, but it was me being hard on myself, right? That I wasn't perfect enough.
Yes.
And then, you know, growth and transformation over the years. But what do you think is that space that helps invite women in, and men too, to start being kinder and more loving to themselves?
I think, and I have this chapter here again. I'm looking for it. It's called "How to Live with an Open Heart." How to live with an open heart. The power of an open heart. Page 242. Okay, page 242. Let's see. The power of an open heart. I think it's here. If you find yourself feeling stuck, down, anxious, bitter, or pessimistic, I guarantee that your heart is closed at that very moment. You probably have critical judgments of yourself, others, your life, God, and you feel isolated and separate. From here on, you have a choice. You don't have to stay in this place. Know that at that very moment, you are longing for connection with yourself. And ask yourself, why am I withdrawing my self-love? Listen for the response. Is it something current or maybe old? Be honest and allow yourself to be vulnerable, because it is through that vulnerability that our hearts soften.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to cry because something is releasing. You might need to write down all the pent-up feelings that have been stored under judgments and criticism. Just know that under all of that weight, your heart is longing to open and be given permission to express all of your pain, your hurts, your hopes, and ultimately love. Don't live in the separation between you and your heart. It's not a good way to live. Do whatever it takes to heal the separation.
I love that. I love that. It's exactly, spot on. I'm just kind of like getting in and, really, I think witnessing it too. And then it's just, one thing, we could discuss this too is like our beliefs. And I think there's whatever quote or research that says that 90% of our thoughts are the same every day, right? And that, we kind of walk around with the same conversation that we're having in the privacy of our own minds, right? And then those thoughts, right, then dictate our behavior, and then that dictates our life and our actions. And so to get back to that place where, we're kind of expanding, listening, witnessing, and then, be willing to start to say it differently, right? Or be willing to
even say, I'm not my thoughts.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I'm not my thoughts, or I can change. How could I say that better? It's like I say in my first book, Until I Get Healthy, it's, ask yourself, would I talk to my best friend that way? And if the answer is no, then you definitely shouldn't be talking to yourself that way, right? And so,
for example, go ahead.
No, that's, you go ahead. I like.
For example, if you say, I need to lose some weight, which is me, I want, as you and I talk about that. I want to lose some weight. I want to lose some weight. I want to lose. Maybe this and don't eat this, don't eat that. You want this, but you shouldn't have this. And it's this struggle, instead of saying, I am eating in a way that fulfills my vitality and my health, and I'm making healthy choices. Every day I'm making healthy choices.
And I love too of like even for you, and we talked about this, of like, I nourish and support my body, and my body nourishes and supports me back, and to trust that the weight is shifting the way it's supposed to, at the rate it's supposed to. And really what it comes down to is, and I went through some of that too with, postpartum with, it's like that there's a time frame where you're like, this is not my body. I don't know what the fuck this is, but this is not Aimee. And what am I going to do to get it back? Yeah. And then you start to realize, like, but do I want to go back? Because I just gave birth to this beautiful baby, and I don't want to take that away, right? And, it's just this thing, I don't want to undo all the amazingness. So how do I learn to nourish and support my body in a way, and then trust that it's nourishing and supporting me back? It might look different than how I thought, right? So that's like our beliefs and allowing ourselves to shift and adjust. But I also, I think to your point too, the more we focus on the struggle, the bigger the struggle gets, right? And so rather than just say, okay, so I'm doing that thing I do again, and I'm being hard on myself, and I'm looking in the mirror and not liking what I see.
And I think, I think it was either Justin Timberlake or Ryan Reynolds, one of the two, they were in a talk show, and they said something profound that I have to Google it and remember who it was. and he said to I think it was Jimmy Kimmel he said, "What do you have any advice for me?" And he said, "Yes, your wife that's got a whole human being out of her body. The least you can do is take out the garbage and wash the dishes."
It was Ryan Reynolds. I saw that. It was amazing.
Ryan Reynolds, and he said, "You know, she just got a human being out of her body." And I thought, yes, let's just. I mean, I said to women, "You don't feel enough about yourself. We bleed every month.
I know. We give up blood every month, and
then we give have human beings come. I mean, I didn't have children, but you know, I saw my sister give birth, and I have such a honoring for women. And you know, I cannot believe that women sometimes say, "Oh, I'm just a mom."
Oh my gosh, that is the biggest job. And
you say you're just a mom. I mean, that is like the most sacred. Oh, I'm just in home. Okay, if you want to find something to do,
right?
You know, because that's more fulfilling for you. But honestly, we are extraordinary. I mean, we are
a comparison that really then knocks us down, right? That we think we should be more, and that's the root of it all, though, is this.
And why
not enough feeling, right? And so how to start to shift that mindset or those beliefs into saying, like, no, I am enough, and I do appreciate all that I do for myself, and you know.
And how do we get men to really treat women? I mean, I think men suffer a lot from not knowing what the hell to do with women. I mean, there isn't that song from Camelot, how to love a woman, you know?
I don't know that song.
Okay. How to love a woman, love her, merely love her. I mean, how do you cherish and love a woman? But men feel so unworthy also, and have so much hurt and woundedness, and feel that they have to be strong and I mean, they have to be mighty and you know, the male macho thing, you know, which is huge. They have to make enough.
A lot of pressure to put.
So much pressure.
And the pressure we put on ourselves. So I mean, so let's say, you know, to our listeners too, of you know, I think some basics on what they can do to really bring awareness, right, to rediscover their joy. And it is, I mean, it sounds like, you know, the root of it is getting back into our hearts, right, and kind of out of our heads, and agreeing that, or making peace with the fact that your thoughts don't have to be you, right, or that you have power over changing those thoughts.
Well, I think you have to go back and get in touch with joy. Is a very spontaneous thing too.
Yes.
It's like you suddenly feel, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that, and it's like this joyful feeling comes up, and you start to write down, take a journal and say, when did I have that joyful feeling last?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Oh, it was when I just spontaneously called this friend of mine and we had this great talk and we laughed. Okay, that's great. Right, jot that down. So what made you that connection with somebody that you have a rapport? Oh, I made this great meal for my friends. Or I was at work and suddenly I got a hit to call this person who can help me with this deal, and made me feel creative and joyful. So write down, what is it for you? Reading a book, or browsing at a museum, or going to see a play. I mean, what was it the other day that I went to see? Hilarious. It's like a French farce. The play that went wrong. And everything goes wrong in the play. I mean, it's like everybody is laughing so much, and it was exhausting how much people were falling chairs and chandeliers were falling. Right. And Helena said to me, it was exhausting, but I needed to laugh. So, okay, and joy sometimes is a quiet joy. You just thinking of something, thinking of things that make you joyful, and your brain cells start to get new images. It's all images. It's new pictures. Put pictures around you. I mean, I think of a girl, you know, I mean, it breaks my heart because it was a cancer survivor. I spoke at this women's group for cancer survivors, And this woman said to me, she was wearing a great thing, and she said, you know, I don't really know what joy is. I don't think I felt joy. And I said, well, when you were a little girl, I said, I don't remember. My parents always wanted me to be correct. I mean, you felt just, I mean, this overwhelming sadness and sorrow of this girl and wearing a gray sweater. And I said, whatever her name was, I said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to throw that sweater away.
Yes.
It's gray, it's dull, and there's nothing joyful about it. I want you to just go and buy a happy sweater, like something that just has color and pictures, and something that you as and I want you to put pictures around you of butterflies and balloons and circles. I said, you got to start bringing images to remember that there is joy in you.
Yeah, yeah. You wake it back up. So it's there. It's like the reawakening, kind of, you know, I call these the reawakened health webinars, right? But it is that thing of, you know, one of the things I talk about a lot in my next book is that, you know, the body knows, it has an innate wisdom to be well, not to be ill, right? Just as it's saying, it has this innate wisdom to feel joy. If you look at like my son, you know, is a perfect example. It's just like, you know, running around his crib acting like, you know, a silly boy is hands down the funnest thing he's ever done in his life for today, for this moment, actually, right? But so to realize like that it's in you, it's not outside. We don't have to achieve something or to get something or to be a certain way or to have a certain job or to have the man or to not or to have the baby or not, right? It's
well, also, you know, because we put so much on our to-do list.
Oh my God, we block it all.
And I say, you know, complete it by declaring it complete.
Yes.
I will never do this. You know, I will never learn German. You know,
right. Done. I'm good.
Like you said, do you play tennis? I said, I've played tennis a dozen times in my life. It's very nice. I'm never going to learn to play tennis.
Thanks.
So I don't have to have the pressure. Oh, one day I'm going to learn to play tennis. Or those endless books. I'm going to finish those books. No, I'm going to finish this book.
Yes. 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 That's it. You wrote books. You don't have to read them anymore.
You listen to books, or you put little chapters. You know, make it.
Yeah.
And that two things for women is that one is that complete a project by dropping it, get it off the list. I'm not doing that. So that pressure is going to kill your joy.
Yeah.
The pressure of you haven't done enough and your to-do list, and at some point you go done for the day. Declare it complete. Lots of unanswered emails, lots of things that didn't happen. There is tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow doesn't come. You don't know. But today you're done. And go to bed with your heart beating to love. We have 28 billion beats in our lifetime. Love, love, love,
I love that.
And you go, I love you. And you go, really? I love you. You just, even the words, I love you, as Bruno Mars said, just the way you are. Agapi, Aimee, talk to yourself. Robert Cooper, the neuroscientist, said, I just got another thought that I must say. He said, you must address yourself with your name. Said, Aimee, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, we are going to take time out. Aimee, we're going to meditate. Aimee, you did great today. Agapi, I really love you. That was an amazing webinar. Thank you for making the time. You acknowledge yourself and you talk to yourself and you put yourself on the schedule. Agapi gym.
Right.
Amazing. The brain starts to connect. It's me. It's this being that lives in me that I'm honoring.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Honoring this being that lives in me that I don't take her for granted. I'm honoring this being. And the other thing is that no is a complete sentence. When you realize that the pressure we put on ourselves to do certain things that are not really ours to do, and we take it on, and we go on automatic, and then we don't like ourselves for doing that to ourselves.
Right. Well, that's it. And then we have regret, or we get resentful that we filled our schedule with other people's things rather than the things that we want to do.
Yes. And don't be afraid to cancel things if
it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. And you say, well, I'm so sorry. I said we're going to have dinner, but you know, and you say, well, it's the last minute. Yeah, it's last minute. I'm canceling.
Yes, well, that's it. You know, it's inspired action, right? I try to do that more and more. I mean, there's things that have to get done, of course, right? You know, like I have to wake up and feed my child and then feed myself and that kind of things. But even, you know, things on the to-do list that I need to feel inspired to do them, right? And I want to come from a heartfelt place to do it. And then even, you know, having to go into the office or having to go to work on a day that maybe you just don't feel like it, find reasons that, you know, things that you do enjoy about your day, right? And look for the little things that light you up, and you know, keep it simple, right? I think sometimes it's about subtracting, not adding.
I just remember what I was going to say is that one of our joy killers is that we want to do things. We want to say things. We want to try new things, and we hold ourselves back because of this feeling that we are going to be like a fool, you know, like, or you say, oh, I want to study tango or a language, or I want to go for this job, or I want to leave this job, but I'm lost if I leave this job that I hate.
Right.
And you go, okay, that's where you need help. That's where you need mentors. That's where you need a good coach. That's where you need people to say, hey, I'm leaving this job and it's scary for me.
Yeah.
Because I have a child or something, but I'm so miserable.
Yeah.
What can I do? And you say, okay, is this the right time to leave the job? I have a line here that says, know your exit time.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your time to leave a relationship that's not working? Of course it's scary. And of course it's going to hurt. And of course you're going to need somebody to hold your hand. Find those people who help you in your transition.
Right.
I've had so many moments in my life that were so difficult. And I worked through like you're walking through molasses.
Yeah.
But you know that your spirit, and you just do good things for yourself while you're walking them. And you admit it and you surrender them, and you know, it's like you are doing alchemy with yourself, but out of that you're coming out of the mud. Mm-hmm. And you're rising like a phoenix, and it's not a day, it's not an overnight process.
No.
Becoming who you are is it's a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And it can be very uncomfortable, and that's okay, right? You know, there's growth in that discomfort. I think about that. I like that a lot.
So I wanted to tell our listeners two things. Yes. That they can reach me in my email, which is agapi@unbindingtheheart.com.
Right.
But you can follow me on Instagram, called Agapi Sees. You can follow me on Facebook. I mean, you can like my page, Agapi Stassinopoulos, and I post all the time on Twitter, Agapi Says, and stay in touch, you know, so that I speak a lot. I would love you to read this book, get the audio, listen to the meditations, and let your heart soften with your spirit. Go to bed every night writing down 3 things you're grateful for, and 3 things you want to wake up in the morning and receive. Write them down. Don't be lazy. Just write them down. I receive my surprises. I receive invitations that make me happy. I receive flowers. And then you say, what I give. My prayer is, God, put in front of me the people that need the gifts I have to offer.
Yes.
Put in front of me the people that need what I have, so that my gifts become richer because I give them. Life gave them to me. Life gave me this being. Thank you. What can I offer you now? My mother used to say, it's an offering. It's not a trade.
Right.
because you offer.
I love that, Agape. I love you so much.
I love you,
darling. And I want to tell you all something about uncomfortable. So I'm, you know, as much as I'm this extrovert and I love to be on video and all this stuff and, you know, talk to everyone, Agape and I were both speaking at our mutual friends She Summit years ago. And Agape was on stage and doing her thing, and she's contagious as hell. And usually when I'm at events like that, I'm not, at least back then, I would say this was probably when I would meet 3 or 4 years ago. And I think it was 4 years ago. But there was something about her that, you know, and she's Greek, and my best friend, Melanie, is Greek. So I have a little bit of Greek in me, but I'm not the person that would just in a crowd go up to someone like Agape and just introduce myself. And she was surrounded by all these people. And there was just something that told me I needed to do it. Like I was like drawn to her. So I went up and I spoke my little bit of Greek to her, which is, I think. Yeah, Tikani Skala. Wait, no, it wasn't. But I think I did say that. Yasu Tikani Skala. He said. But then I also know how to say, "Would you like an orange soda?" How do you say that?
Portocalada.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm totally losing my Greek. This is terrible. But anyway, the point is that I went out of my comfort zone to go and talk to her, and it was a big moment of growth for me. It actually was like it was this time where I was realizing, like, if I want to, you know, open my life up to people like this and to more experiences like this, then this is my moment to shine. And I went up to her, and then from there, you know, just this, you know, beautiful friendship and so many years, and it's such a blessing.
It's amazing.
You know, it's like just as a sign to all of you of like, we all have these uncomfortable moments, myself included. But if I didn't do that, you know, we wouldn't be having this right now. And I
mean, you always must go up and say hi when you feel. The only thing I know is that I was traveling first class to Australia because of the Thrive Global seminars. And guess who walks in the first row? Seal.
Oh my gosh.
Seal. And I texted one of my best friends, and I said to her, Seal just came in. And I said to me, go say hi. And I go, I don't know, I don't feel I look that good, you know, because I was like in my kind of pajamas going and everything. And I just wanted to give you my book.
Yes.
You know, hi, I want to give you this book, and I think you're amazing. And then, you know, I was tired. I didn't push myself, but I'm thinking, if it was now, I would go and say, you're amazing. I mean,
but that's it. And even that, I mean, it's just so nice, you know, it just.
Who knows? You might have asked me out.
Who knows? I know.
Said, what are you up to today?
When we land, would you like to grab
it? For God's sake, you know, what is it, 17 hours?
Yeah, you could
hang out happen in the 17 hours. But anyways, I'm going to...
So, Agape, I want to thank you so much for tonight. It was so wonderful just chatting with you, some girl talk, and involving everyone else in our girl talk. And I hope you all
to stay in our tribe. Aimee is amazing. And just for all of us to just keep staying, you know, we need to support each other to lift each other up. Don't forget to dance. Don't forget to smile a lot, hug a lot. Tell the people you love them tonight. Go up and tell them. If you're having an argument with somebody, pick up the phone, don't text, and say, I'm sorry, I was a bit abrupt with you today. I don't want to go to sleep like that. I love you. Just be very, very loving. The bottom line is, and tell people how you feel. If people are not treating you the way you want to be treated, just tell them how you want to be treated. Say, you know, what you did, what you said. I mean, for me, part of the thing is when people are talking to me and they're not present with me, I would say, you know, you're not really here.
Where are you? I'm taking, so you might think I'm not being present right now. I'm taking a picture for social media.
Oh, yes. Stephanie, can you take a picture of me and Aimee together? Stephanie's coming.
I don't have the split screen option, but so yes, ladies, ladies, men, all of you listening.
Yes.
I'm taking a picture.
I just asked. Yes. Can you see anybody else? No?
No. But step into your power. Own it. You are, you know, we are lucky to have you here in this experience with us. And so
Yes.
appreciate yourself, you know, and that's it. And that alone will wake you up to the joy in your life.
And wake up to the joy of you.
And go get Agapi's book. We're going to send you in our follow-up email all the information on this lovely lady and how to find her and reach her, and and how to get the book too. So you'll have links in your email. I don't know when that email goes out. But
love and kisses. Be well and happy. And next year we'll go to Santorini and dance.
I love that. We should do that now.
Yes, we should do that now. Lots of love. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you. I love you.
Bye, my darling. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great night.